What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the first ever live stream. I appreciate you all taking time out of your day, spend with little old me. Many of you know me as It Stands Lakers. This is a new channel here with my buddy Jake. What's going on, Jake?
What's up?
Yeah.
What's up, guys? I'm Jake from State Farm.
Khakis?
Yep, absolutely. Khakis always.
But yeah, so we're gonna do this live stream show from now on here on this channel. We're looking at doing 3 days a week, and then Mr. Jake is gonna give you guys some clips. He's gonna be posting clips on this channel and stuff, so you guys get fresh content, stuff like that. All Lakers,
sir.
all everything Lakers. You know, every once in a while we might dabble into some other stuff, but the primary focus here is the Lakers. But diving into it, let's get right into it. So first off, what are your thoughts on just Russell Westbrook in general? Do you think he can fit? Do you think he's going to work? What are your thoughts and opinions on that?
No. And here's why. I feel like Russell only works when Russell is the center of attention, right? So he needs like ball control. He needs like 24/7. Like, I need the ball in my hands. Like, he needs to be able to make all of the decisions. And with LeBron on the team, like, it's not going to happen. So like, I don't think it's a good fit. And why do we still have him? I have no idea. We need a new point guard. I can't see another season of Russell. I cannot. It's frustrating.
Yeah, it definitely might be rough. My only thing is that like Darvin Ham last year, or not Darvin Ham, Frank Vogel last year didn't do Russ very many favors. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a disaster of a season, but there was no play style, no movement with Russ. How many times do we see Russ completely out of plays? Like, you should never have a player that is completely out of plays. And maybe it was Russ not wanting to commit to ball screens or, not willing to cut or whatever. But I mean, he did in Houston when he was with James Harden. So clearly he's willing to do that. I just don't know. Him and Vogel didn't really have a great relationship. You know, they weren't really like super thrilled to have each other on the team. But beyond that, like, I think it's going to come down to play style. I think Darvin Ham has Russell Westbrook believing that he can fit. Now, whether that becomes a reality or not, it's completely something different. But I think Darvin Ham has Russ. You see him, the two of them, two peas in a pod. They're attached at the hip. You know, they're going everywhere together, which is a good sign. Russ is saying he's willing to do whatever it takes. And, even Woj had an interview and he was asking him like, well, how would you feel about coming off the bench? And he said, whatever it takes for this team. I don't think he comes off the bench, but I think that they operate him as a sixth man, because the whole reason you got Russell Westbrook was so that LeBron James, when he wasn't in the game or he just missed the game, you had somebody that could pick up the slack. You had that point. You could let Russ be Russ. We never saw that last year. Like, the one game that Russ played without LeBron and without Anthony Davis, he put up 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 15 assists, and only had 3 turnovers. He's still that guy. But we don't need him to be that guy. If he could give us 15, 5, and 5, that's perfect.
But that's my point, though. Like, should we let him be that guy?
I mean, I think at least my perspective, obviously I'm not a NBA head coach, but the way I would do it, because you got to have the big three, whether you think it's a big three or not. I know some people are like, it's not a big three. It is if they figure it out. But I think you got to have the big three play some form of minutes together to try to work it out. But then after that, I think you basically operate Russ as the sixth man. So basically what I would do is I would have them start, and then at like the 6-minute mark, LeBron James comes out of the game, sits on the bench, gets his rest. And Russ, you got 6 minutes to do whatever you like. This is the Russell Westbrook show. Go get me. I need you to go get me 10 and 5 in this next little 6-minute block. And then you could let Russ be Russ, because then you just put him with all the young guys. The Lakers led the league, or not led the league, but they were top 5 in pacing and top 5 in fast break points last year with an old-ass team that was not very good. We have nothing but young. Imagine how fast and pace-wise we could do this year. You put Russ with a bunch of young and gun guys. I think that that's how you operate. So basically, you're just scattering LeBron and Westbrook's minutes. And then if Westbrook is killing it, let's say he's killing it, he's doing great and life's good. Well, then you have him, maybe close a game or finish a game. But if he's not really, he's like, he's kind of a little over the place, or he's turning the ball over or something like that. It's a tight game. All right, tell you what, I need you to come down. I need you to sit on the bench. Let's go get this W. Let's worry about the next game. It's just, will Russ be willing to do that is the problem.
So see, and that kind of brings me to like my next, like my question is like, because the turnovers, where do the turnovers come from? Because I know they were bad in OKC, but they were never this bad. So like, if we let him kind of just, like you said, be Russ, you think the turnovers will kind of get like, reduced to like nothing really, or at least go down to what it was like in OKC.
Yeah. I mean, look, anybody that has a high usage rate, which last year Russ still had a high usage rate, going to turn the ball over. I mean, James Harden, LeBron James didn't have that few turnovers compared to Russ. Like Russ averaged 4 turnovers a game. LeBron was at 3.5. So it wasn't that big of a difference last year. Yeah. So it wasn't like it was like night and day better. It was just a bad year in general. But yeah. I think also a lot of the turnovers was that Russell Westbrook, you had him be completely out of plays, out of games, ineffective, and then you give him the ball and you want him to figure it out rather than actually having sets or just play strictly for Russell Westbrook. It's basically like, it'd be like if, you showed up to watch a pickup game at a park and the game is going on and they just look at you and go, hey, we want you to come in and be our point guard. You'd be like, all right, but you're not going to have that feel. There's no sets for you. Yeah. So you're trying to figure it out on the fly. You're going to have those turnovers. And then you're trying to overcompensate because you want to do something. So you're working twice as hard, which leads to just silly mistakes, silly play, stuff like that. And it wasn't so much just the turnovers. It was the in-game turnovers, because there's a big difference between dead ball turnovers and in-game turnovers. Dead ball turnovers is like you throw the ball out of bounds. Yeah. Like LeBron had a ton of those last year. But in-game turnovers is like you dribble into the flow, you just lose the handle, and the team's off to the races to the other side. That is in-game, and that is worse. And Russ had a lot of those last year, which were bad. So I think it's just going to come down to putting him within the frame and the scope of the actual offense and having him play a role. I think that'd be the difference. Russ didn't really have a role last year.
It's almost like they just threw him in and they said, figure out where you fit in for yourself.
Exactly. And to a degree, okay, but you need to have stuff to fall on if things aren't going well. The problem was Vogel didn't have that period. I mean, how many times do we see Russ, Rondo, and LeBron on the court at the same time? That should never be a lineup.
Yeah, no, that's weird. That's really weird.
Yeah, and then he would have LeBron, THT, and Russ. Again, you have 3 guys that basically do the exact same thing. Like, yes, LeBron wants to play more off the ball. He shot 36% or whatever from 3 last season. I imagine that stays within that vicinity this year.
You think so?
So you can't have
hope moments.
So. Yeah, I hope so, right?
Yeah, that's what I say. We hope so.
Yeah,
but he's LeBron though, so like.
Yeah, I mean, look, LeBron's LeBron. I mean, I've
come to learn now, like you said, like LeBron's LeBron. But would you rather have Rondo or Russ if you could have one or the other?
From an impact perspective, Russ. Rondo, Rondo was clearly the better fit. Obviously, he was able to work it out. Rondo was also the smarter player, higher IQ, stuff like that. That's why he was able to make it fit. That's why he was able to make it work. And the dude, playoff Rondo is playoff Rondo, right? That guy is insane in the playoffs.
Yeah, no,
and you had him shooting like 40% from 3 when he was in the bubble. But the reason I say Russ is because if they could figure it out, like they were able to figure it out with Rondo, then that would be a monster of a team. You don't need nobody thinks Russ is worse than Rondo unless you're just being biased and hateful towards Russ. There's a lot of Laker fans that are. There's a lot of Laker fans that think Russ is the worst player on the planet. He's not. People forget too. The year earlier, he put up a 22-point a game triple double on a Wizards team with guys you can't even name, and they made the playoffs. Like he still got it in there. It's just, can they figure out a way to capitalize on it and get him to work?
It's because, well, yeah, exactly. And it's because, like me, I know too, I'm a prisoner like of the moment where like Russ, like we know Russ to be the great Russ, but right now it's just what we have seen from him in the last 3 years have just not been all too great. It just hasn't been like the Russ that we're accustomed to. So like, I think that's what it is. Everybody's a prisoner of the moment and not necessarily like understanding like that's still Mr. Triple Double, and I just, if we could make that fit, it seems impossible. In what is this, year 3 now with him? Year 3?
This will be year 2.
Year 2, sorry. It seems like it's almost impossible. But I think if they were gonna make it work, it would be this year. Like this would be the time, to gel, and like, because you take like LeBron, like Wade and Bosh back in like the Miami days, they were able to gel because their play style, was different, but at the same time, like they were all veterans. They kind of had like, they have this just understanding of like, okay, look, LeBron's our guy, Wade is a 2, and Bosh is 3rd, if you want to say. And I think with Anthony Davis, it's weird too because it goes in spurts. You know what I mean? It's like he has like a great half season and like not so great like the next season. But if we could just, honestly, I wish, and this is probably non-realistic. I wish they could rest LeBron as much as they could. I mean, obviously not gonna make LeBron come off the bench, but he is trying to stay in the league for another, I think, 4 or 5 years.
I mean,
so
he'll go as long as he can.
yeah. No, so I wish they could rest LeBron as much as they could. Let Russ run the show for the majority of the season, because that would give him the pilot feature, if you will. Give him enough time to like, let him run the team for a little bit. Then towards playoff time, implement LeBron more and more. You have a fresh LeBron for playoffs, and championship, here we come. But it doesn't really,
I think they're going to do that to a degree, because Darvin Ham in his press conference earlier today, he talked about he doesn't want to play like LeBron and AD, playoff minutes. He wants them to play as few minutes as possible, and I do think they ride on the backs of Russell Westbrook. I really do. But I mean, if anything, like if you were ever going to have to decide like who to allow the range, at this point, I would give it to Russ, because LeBron is better and smarter to where he can figure out how to blend in. You know what I mean? Like where if you give LeBron, even though the better decision is to give it LeBron's arguably the greatest player, if not the greatest player ever. So give the ball to LeBron. He's the guy that's going to make the real impact play, stuff like that, which is good at the end of games. But I think for the majority of the game, you're almost better off just letting Russ run the show and have LeBron figure out how to play off of Russ, rather than Russ having to figure out how to play off LeBron. Because it's just, Russ is not going to be able to figure that out to the level that they need him to. But LeBron is so smart, so skilled, so talented, so incredible. He can figure it out. He could be the slasher. He's a big body. You could do more post ups. Like, he's a much improved 3-point shooter. You can have him play off the ball where Russ is driving and kick into LeBron. Like, there's ways for him to get involved. And then when Russ isn't in the game, you have LeBron. That's what I would guess they try to work it out.
Now, if you're the head coach, are you taking down LeBron's minutes, or are you just adjusting his role into how he fits into the team?
A little bit of both. I mean, like ideally at this point, if you can, you only want LeBron to play like 25 minutes a game. Like if you can make that work, you don't want
because the ticket sales. It's gonna be a hard sell though, because those fans, they come to see.
Yeah, but here's the thing: he's gonna play more games. So from a fan perspective, would you rather him miss 30 games again, or would you rather him play 25 minutes and at least you get to see him for 25 minutes?
It's different. If I go to no, you're right. You're
I mean, it depends on
100% right.
it depends on which game you're at, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. I was gonna say now, if I go to a game in person, yeah, of course I want to see LeBron play. But if I'm watching on TV and I'm looking at this from like the season perspective, oh yeah, rest LeBron, please rest LeBron. Because if we can get a fully healthy, energized LeBron for playoff season, I mean that's dangerous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even in what year are we in with LeBron now?
Year 20.
Oh, sorry, year 12. Yeah, I'm
20, 2-0. But
yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say is that like winning is everything, right? Like if Lakers are winning and he's playing 25 minutes, I mean, if Lakers are winning and he's playing 15 minutes, I don't think people are gonna care. But if they're
Yeah.
losing and he's playing 25 minutes, then people are gonna be like, you need to play LeBron more. I think it just depends on what it is. But ideally, in a perfect world, you want to be able to play LeBron like 25 minutes a game, let him go in there. He's still going to get his 20 plus a night because he's just that good. And especially if he knows I only got 25 minutes to go get 20 plus points, he's going to make it happen.
Exactly.
So you have that. You're probably running Russ 30 to 35 minutes, but Russ he is a guy that can do that. And then you have AD probably playing around 30 minutes. So you have like Russ at like 30, 35, AD at 30, 25, 30, 35 range. And then you have LeBron at 25. That would be ideal. Will they be able to make that work? Who knows? But that would at least be ideal.
How do you feel about AD going into the season?
I think we go as far as he takes us. I think, LeBron's LeBron. Don't get me wrong. LeBron is incredible. But to ask him to handle basically carrying this team like he once could is just it's an impossible task. Now if we got say we get to the finals this year, which is a tall ask right now, but let's say hindsight's 2020, we look into it and we see that we got to the finals. Now I could see LeBron carrying this team if we were to make it to the finals, because I do think LeBron's still good enough to where I could kill myself to get one more ring, especially if he has that opportunity.
He has that gene. If he knows he sees it, if he sees it in front of him, he's gonna be hard to stop him.
Yeah. So that what?
No. I was just gonna say. So even with where we are now, the big three, you have to divide it up. The shared responsibility. It can't just be LeBron and AD. It can't just be LeBron and Russ. It has to be all three, is what you're saying. Right now, that's the only way to make it.
Yeah, it has to be a community. Because look, LeBron and AD by themselves are going to get you 50 points plus a night. So you're already halfway to 100. If Russ can come in and give you 15, then there you go. All you need is another 40, 50 points between the other 12 guys you have on your roster. That's a good spot to be at. I mean, Russ averaged 18, 7, and 7 last season. As terrible as he was last season, still averaged 18, 7, and 7. Still shot around his league average, which was 43%. So, I mean, on paper, if you didn't watch the games, on paper, you thought Russell Westbrook was a superstar last year. You were he's the third option. He put up 18, 7, and 7. The dude killed it. Why is everyone hating on the guy? But if you actually watched the games, you saw how ineffective he was. And that's my big thing is Darvin Ham needs to figure out how to make him effective. And a big thing too is that they had the Lakers were running the pick and roll with LeBron and Westbrook and AD. And they were it had an 80% score rate. They did the play 9 times and scored 8 out of 9 times, and then just didn't do it again for 4 months. Why? Why would you just stop doing that? So there's keys to success. Even I brought up Houston earlier. The way that they were able to make Houston work, because Houston wasn't working in the beginning either. They were getting killed. And the way they were able to make it work was Russ started becoming a slasher and a cutter, and Harden was able to get him on the block. That's what they need to do. And Darvin Ham has basically said as much. He said, I'm going to have, because he's playing the 4-out, 1-in offense. So basically you're going to be able to put Westbrook in either in the dunker spot as the 1-in, where you can just drop it down to him and let him get some post touches. He's just so quick, agile, and just athletic. Anybody that's guarding him on an island down there, good luck, and then spreads the floor and he can kick it out if you need to. And then because it's spread, you're going to be able to have Russ coming down with the head of steam to get to the basket. Like, you can find ways to have him be effective, whether it's AD or LeBron that's got it, at the high key. Like, now you can have Russ cut to the basket, boom, easy bucket, easy layup. There's ways to integrate him into this offense to make him effective. So if we could figure that out, I think we'd be really good. I really do. But quick,
let's hope we figure it out.
Hoping for this. Real quick, let's say hi to some people in the chat. We got some people in the chat comments. What's going on, Mr. 81? I appreciate you. Thank you so much for handing in here. I don't like Russell Westbrook's attitude. What I seen today, I don't believe he's going to buy in. His body language looks different from all the reports. Here's the thing, though, about that is like, because what he's talking about is media day. I don't care. I don't care how LeBron or how Westbrook responds to the media. He's never had a good relationship with the media. Would you like him to be like, hey, yeah, but you got to understand, one, he knows the entire world knows that the Lakers don't want him. The Lakers spent the entire offseason trying to trade him. And all the questions today were like, how do you feel about the Lakers not wanting you? And all of his answers were like, I don't care. I have a job to do. I'm going to show up to work. Like he says, like, everyone has a job, and sometimes people at your job just don't like you. Like, that's just what it is. It's true. Like, I don't care how he feels about the media or what he says or anything like that. Even all the good stuff he says, I care less about that. What does he do on the basketball court? What is he? Is he willing to make the change? Is he willing to make the adjustments? Stuff like that. What do you think?
See, and that's where it gets me, because it's like, you make a good analogy. Okay, if you're walking into work every day and the people there do not like you, it's going to be hard to come in with like a peachy attitude. You know what I mean? You're just going to come in, do your job, then leave. But now the workflow does go so much better when you're, vibing with everybody, high-fiving, hey, good job, But so I don't know if there's a little friction going on with LeBron right now, like him and LeBron, because I know when they had, it was a game. Cannot recall which game, but it was a game during this right after the finals, and they had a community event, and LeBron and Russ were there, and like they didn't even acknowledge each other. They didn't like go and
you're talking about Summer League. That was this Summer League, yeah.
Yes. So you had Russ there on the sidelines, trying to help the coach and everything like that, but like him and LeBron, to my knowledge, they'd even like dap each other up, and like these are teammates, you know what I mean? It's like that kind of stuff shows, and it's like, are they going to be able to work together effectively on the court if you can't even, like if you're not really, you know what I mean? You don't really see that often, you look at like Wade and like, LeBron, they're best friends, always hanging out. So it goes a long way. And plus they won championships for it. You know what I mean? So Chemistry don't know. No, it really is. Chemistry is a huge factor. I don't know if I'm not gonna say it's not possible, but on a championship level caliber, it's very, very hard to win without chemistry. Very, very hard.
Yeah, agree. He's going to ruin team chemistry. I have no trust in him. Yeah, I mean, basically, we just touched on that. Well, welcome, Jake. Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome. Yes. Hi, Jake.
Hi, Emma.
Hey, Lakers will be worse than Halloween ends. AD always injured. Westbrook useless, only a stat whore. And LeBron passes prime Warriors for life. Haters in the building right now. What's going on?
Was that movie really that bad though? Was it?
Yeah. Well, Halloween Ends hasn't came out yet, but it doesn't look. Too promising.
Okay, that's not the last one.
You talking about those Halloween Kills was terrible. Or I thought it was terrible. I thought that movie was trash. But yeah, that's just me. Lakers even worse than Halloween Kills, and there you go. That's a good reference. Halloween Kills and Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
There you go.
Creepers Reborn was awful. Lakers bench also terrible. I don't think so. I actually think Lakers have a really good team. Like, I think the Lakers, it's just, can they figure it out?
Would you say are we deeper than we are last year?
Oh yeah, much better. So I have like a whole video breakdown on the As Stands Lakers channel about comparing this team to the bubble team, and this team is very, very. This team is technically better on paper than the bubble team by far, but that team just had such great chemistry. That team had so many things that made it so great that it wasn't just stats and stuff. What's going on, City Lights? I appreciate you being here. Thanks so much.
What's up, City Lights?
Westbrook has always been a selfish stat, or all about stats, not team winning. I mean, he says that he's willing to change. He says that he's willing to to fix it. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, because what are the other options? What are the other options right now? I'd rather give up 6 first-round picks for as Lakers than Brickhead. I'm roasting him. Well, thank you, Mr. 81. I appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, look, it is. It's one of those things. Like, it's going to be interesting to see if we could figure it out, if we could make it work. You know, I have optimism. I have hope. You know, maybe it's a blind faith, but sometimes you gotta. And when it comes to your team, but
well, we have to, honestly, because people that bubble championship, people discredit us on that one. That we have to get one outside the bubble.
Yeah, people still try to come up with reasons why it didn't count or whatever. It's silly to me. But
hey, look, a championship is a championship.
Exactly. And I always say, like, tell me an advantage that the Lakers had that no other team did. The NBA literally extended it another week so teams like the Clippers and stuff could be fully healthy. So they actually gave other teams an opportunity to take advantage. Like, and they came in, it just, you know, look, if any other team in the league would have won that, it would have been a fair championship. Everyone would have been talking.
Oh, of course.
Like, you know, it's just,
of course,
people love
it's because we have LeBron on our team, though. You know, I don't know if it's the organization, but it's because we have LeBron on. He just draws so much, like, yeah.
It's good to hate. It pays to hate Lakers. It does. That's why all the media and stuff. But, you know, speaking of, like, you know, this team and stuff, and just like, is there anybody on the roster? I mean, and it could even be LeBron or somebody, but is there anybody on the roster that you're really looking forward to this season that you really think may be able to help us? You know, like a Kendrick Nunn, you know, Walker Jr., Patrick Beverly, guys like that. Is there Dennis Schroeder's back? You know, any of those guys?
I like Schroeder. I do. I really do. I like Schroeder. Like, Schroeder, he's that guy. He's him. But I want to really, really see AD. I really want to see, like, AD, like, have that, like, for lack of a better word, that, like, that Steph moment. You know, like, this last year, I mean, who's, like, you can't really say anything anymore. You know, like, you've had, like, oh, he doesn't perform in the playoffs. He can't do this. Like, he's a great player, but he's not complete without this. Like, I want to see AD have that season that everybody just, like, shh, you know, because, like, back when he was in New Orleans, I saw a different beast. I saw a different, like, character. But now that he's in LA, I feel like his play style, which his stat line really hasn't changed too much, but the way he plays the game has. And I think that's what people are kind of, like, looking at. Like, he's not necessarily looked at as the guy, but I really, really want to. I just want to see AD go crazy this season. Like, I just go nuts. I've been an AD fan for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Anthony, like I said earlier, is like Anthony Davis. We go as far as he takes us. I mean, and the good thing is that he worked with the lethal shooter this offseason. The last time he worked with the lethal shooter was the bubble year. He shot like 35% from three. So hopefully that translates. Dennis Schroeder, I think, was a great pickup. And as you know,
Schroeder's quick.
Dramatic.
He's quick.
He's good. And as dramatic as he was, as the exit and everything like that, turning down the $84 million, stuff like that was, the beauty was that they were really good. Like, Schroeder, AD, and LeBron worked. They were a plus 15.5 when those three were on the court together. That is huge. Like, that's like one of the top gaps in the league as far as like a 3-player lineup goes. So I do like the fact that we have these guys that can be good, that can be effective, that can really work. Patrick Beverly, I think, is going to be that absolute dog. You need that Dennis Rodman, that Draymond Green, that guy that'll get the technical, that guy that'll, you know, that isn't afraid to tell LeBron to go F himself. You know, hey, you're messing up. You need guys like that. Yeah. You know, and then also I think Kendrick Nunn, I think, might be the biggest X factor on this team, because he is a guy that can do everything from shot 38% last time he did it, get to the basket, create his own shot, play on the ball, off the ball. He's actually pretty solid defensively. He was the starting point guard for the 2020 the Miami Heat team that we played and we beat in the finals. So he's not afraid of the moment. He's a guy that can step up. He's averaged 15 points a game since he came in the league. He's still very young. That was like our big signing last year that everyone was like blown away and shocked by. Like, no way that the Lakers got Kendrick Nunn for $6 million. Yet here we got him. He just got hurt last year. So it's like we got a new acquisition. And I just think that he's a guy that, like, I'm not saying he's as good, but he could be our Kyrie Irving light. And what I mean by that is, like, the thing we wanted from Kyrie Irving was a guy that could play on the ball, could play off the ball, could shoot, could get to the rim, could finish, do a little bit of everything, be a guy that could be consistent and score. Now, he's not again, I'm not comparing him like skill set. Like Kyrie's just this elite level. The difference between Kendrick Nunn and Kyrie Irving is Kyrie Irving can completely take over games, can completely change games, can single-handedly win you games by himself. He's just that skilled and talented. Kendrick Nunn isn't that. But what I'm saying is that the reason I'm saying he could be a Kyrie light is because a lot of what Kyrie would have given this team, he gives this team, and we got him for $6 million as opposed to like $40 million. Who knows? I mean, maybe he isn't, maybe he doesn't. But I wouldn't be shocked if he's like outside of Westbrook, our third best player on this team. And really is a huge impact. Yeah, he's great. The problem is a lot of people don't just kind of forgot about him because he didn't play last year because he got the bone bruise. And so he missed the season. And then there was talks about him maybe coming back. But at that point, the season was over. So you might as well just let him get rested. I mean, we were already out of the playoffs. So why bring him back to do what? So they let him sit. And then, it's been kind of hot and cold the offseason of like, is he healthy? Is he not? But today they said he's good to go. He's been cleared for full contact, full everything. He's a guy that last time he played averaged 15 points a game. I think like 4 rebounds and 5 assists. So he's basically like a 15-5-5 guy. And he shot 38% from 3. He is our best 3-point shooter on the Lakers currently, based on the last time he played his stats. He's like a 44% 3-point shooter on catch and shoot situations. So he's a good shooter. So that could be a huge benefit because you could have him start, you could have him come off the bench, you could have him play with Russ, you could have him play with LeBron, you could have him play by himself. That's huge for this Lakers team.
How many years do you give him before he hits that, like the Kyrie, or he has that Kyrie like factor to him? How many years?
I don't think he'll ever, because he's not that young. He's like 25, 26, something like that. But he's good enough to make an impact. Like he's definitely like a guy that is worthy of being a starter on a championship team. You get those guys that they have the stats, but you're like, if this is like he would be a great like third option on a championship team. Like if he was like on, I don't know, if he was on like Milwaukee or something like that, and he was your third option and they won a championship, like people would be like, okay, yeah, like that makes sense. Like I said, he was basically the second and third option on Miami when they went to the finals. And that was the last time Miami was in the finals, So, he was a guy that is proven like I can be a second or third guy on a contending team because he was literally in the finals and he started for them. He played for them, all of that stuff. He had a game where he put up like 20 points or whatever, 18 points or whatever. So if you look at his per 40 and stuff, the guy was a 22 point a game finals guy. So, he's really good. It's just, can he fit in, find that role? Can they utilize him properly? Will he have an impact? Can he stay healthy? Stuff like that,
Would you have chose Tyler Hero over him?
Probably not. I know. Look, I think Tyler Hero is great. There's a reason he can't start on Miami. Like even Pat Riley has said, like, you're not starting on this team because he doesn't play any defense. He's a great scorer, but he's not a guy that can make guys better. He's not a guy that can he's a guy that is just great at scoring. He'll go get you 25 points a game. Like that's great. And you need guys like that in this league. But how many of those guys are your number? Like if he's the number one guy on your team, well, you could say the same thing about Kendrick Nunn, but Kendrick Nunn to me is more like he could fit in. he's more of a role guy.
More
Where
aggressive, more.
Tyler Hero is more of like a borderline like second or third option to like a role guy. Like
Yeah.
if Tyler Hero was on like Dallas with Luca, he would be terrifying.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because Luca's so good. Luca's basically your first and second option, where Tyler Hero basically becomes like if Tyler Hero is on a
Exactly.
team where he's just a scorer, then you're good. Like Tyler Hero to me is like like I'd compare him. I mean, I don't think he's fully there yet because he hasn't proven enough, but he's still young. I think he's more of like a Zach Levine, uh, Donovan Mitchell type guy, where
Okay.
like we saw Zach Levine and we've seen Donovan Mitchell as the number one guy, and they don't
Yeah.
lead you anywhere. Like they're really good, they might get you to the playoffs, but they don't lead you anywhere. Like you're not
Yeah.
winning a championship with those guys as your main guy. If their job is just to score, then you're in a good position. So I
Yeah.
do think that's basically Tyler Hero's role, what he is. So yeah. But real quick here, let's get into some more questions. We got some more stuff. Or just other comments. We already got that one earlier. I seen Kyrie Irving and KD at media day, and KD at media day tomorrow. Yeah, they were at media day today. They talked about like everything. They talked about the trade rumors, all that stuff. KD talked about why he wanted to be traded. It was pretty interesting. Kyrie didn't say that he wants to stick around either. Like they were trying to give him softballs to say like, hey,
Yeah.
like, are you ready? And he was kind of just like, hey, like whatever, if it's here or if it's somewhere else, I had other options. It's just, and then he even kind of like, I think he kind of alluded to like, like I was going to leave, but then I decided to write it out and see this through. And then Kevin Durant ended up requested a trade, and I looked kind of stupid. Like that's basically what he was saying. It just,
I'm very shocked they did not make that work. Like that team, that was a scary team.
This team, I mean, they still might be
Kyrie,
scary this year.
And Harden, yeah.
I mean, the problem is it's too. Ben Simmons fits this team better because all of Ben Simmons' flaws are the Nets' strengths, and all of the Nets' weaknesses are Ben Simmons' strengths. A big body that can play defense, guard multiple positions, can pass the ball, all of that. Ben Simmons, the only thing he can't do is shoot. But you don't need him to shoot on the Nets. You have Kyrie, KD, you have Seth Curry, you have Joe Harris, you have Patty Mills. You have like all you have are shooting on that team. Like you literally don't need him to shoot.
Exactly. Yeah, Seth has been heating up too.
Yeah, Seth's been nice. Truthfully, anything can happen except Sacramento will still suck. That is the only fact. I actually really like Sacramento's team this year. I don't think they're going to be like a playoff team or anything, but I think they're a team that can make some noise. I really do. I think they're going to be a fun team to watch. They're still probably going to suck, but I think they'll be a fun team to watch.
I wonder why target the Kings. I wonder.
It's the Kings. Why not?
Oh yeah, it's the Kings.
Whose man is this? Why can't AD work with the lethal shooter every year? I mean, the guy has other clients. I mean, he's one of the top shooting coaches he was just working with Mark Cuban the other day. That dude's high demand. You know what I mean? Like that's why it's hard. It's hard. Bluck in the house. Yeah. Sports decided. You never see Tyler wearing any Laker merch. Starting to question his Laker loyalty. I have a Laker shirt right here.
I almost wore my Lakers jersey too.
Kobe shirt. The only reason I did it, the only reason I don't like what I'm doing the streams is just there you go. The only reason I don't is because it's just like I'm not gonna wear like the same jersey every night. Like you know what I mean? Like maybe every once in a while. Just that it's like I have a Laker chat. I don't need to support it. But moving on is so like we got so many trades that were rumored this offseason for Russell Westbrook. I mean, obviously the Kyrie trade, which would have been nice. The Indiana Pacers.
Hold on, really quick. Stay right there. Do you think that would have been nice? Though? Do you think it would have worked again?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think if we would have gotten Kyrie Irving, I think this team legitimately would have been a contender, just because of what Kyrie brings, and Kyrie would have been able to be Kyrie. It would have because you would have had Anthony Davis. Right, Anthony Davis could have done Anthony Davis things. And then LeBron could have just been that facilitator, scorer type guy. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't have needed LeBron to handle as heavy of a load. And Kyrie's just a much more natural fit. So you could have had Kyrie just come in and just be your scorer. Like just go get me 30 a night. You know, like that's all I need from you. Like I think
that's easy, you know.
Yeah, that's a walk in the park. That's cake. You know, and plus he's already proven that him and LeBron James together equal a championship. You know, so that
rumors are they squashed it. Rumors are they squashed whatever, you know.
Yeah, well they have, yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely think I wouldn't be shocked if Kyrie came next season. I don't think he does. Unless the Nets just implode this year and or KD still wants to leave. But like if they're good, I think he stays. But I wouldn't be shocked if like the Kyrie to the Lakers conversation ends up happening again next offseason because he'll be a free agent, so he could just sign with the Lakers. Why
did we get him this year?
Because the Nets were never going to trade him to us unless Kevin Durant ended up leaving. And as soon as Kevin Durant said he was staying, that was it. There goes all the hope of him going. Like if Kevin Durant would, because Kevin Durant demanded the trade request, and the Nets did not want to trade Kyrie until Kevin Durant left. Which, as long as Kevin Durant was on the team, they weren't going to trade Kyrie. So if they would have found a trade for Kevin Durant, then they would have probably traded Kyrie immediately, and Kyrie would have went to the Lakers. But they were never going to trade Kyrie until Kevin Durant left.
Who were we going to give up?
The most of the packages, because there were several like reported packages, but like the basically boiled down to Russell Westbrook and 2 first-round picks for Kyrie and likely Joe Harris. Which
I would have took that.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been great. Well, the Lakers wanted Seth, but they didn't really want to give up Seth. They wanted to give up Joe Harris, and
nice.
Yeah, but in a
LeBron
normal
team, oh yeah.
In a normal situation, the Lakers probably wouldn't have blinked at all over Joe Harris. But Joe Harris is coming off of like a really severe like injury. You know, knee and foot injury and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of questions with like, how good is he going to be? Is he even going to be able to come back and play? Like, you know, so that was more of the concern. It was like we don't even know if Joe Harris is going to be able to play, and we have to pay him $40 million over the next 2 years. Like, so like, we don't want Joe Harris. We want Seth. And then they kind of went back and forth, but a deal wasn't going to get done, like I said, until Kyrie Irving, until KD ended up getting traded. So,
how far do you see them going in the East this year?
The Nets, I think on paper, I think they're the best team in the league.
On paper easily with those two.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just will they? The problem with the Nets, they're a bad day away from just completely imploding, and that's a problem. Like, you know, and that's going to happen. And because of all of the circus that this offseason was with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, that's all the conversation's going to be. Like, so in every little thing, no matter how.
Do they even want to play together at this point?
Yeah. I mean, according to them, they were good. The trade was never about each other. It's just the Nets didn't want to give Kyrie a long-term deal. And so Kevin Durant was like, if Kyrie leaves, this team sucks, so I'm leaving. And like,
I heard there was rumors that KD was getting a little frustrated because Kyrie didn't want to play because the whole vaccine thing.
There was like a report about that, but that from everything I saw, that wasn't the case. That it was that he wanted that he basically opted that he wanted to be traded because they didn't take care of Kyrie. It makes sense because like as soon as like all the stuff ended with Kyrie, he immediately requested a trade, and it was to put pressure. And like he even said today, like the reason I wanted to trade is because like I didn't believe that this was a team. Like I'm only getting older, I need to be in a position to win, and I didn't believe that this team was in a position to win and that they wanted to win. Basically saying they don't want to pay Kyrie Irving. So if they're not going to pay him, we're not going to win. I'm not going to be able to win with this team without him. So why would I be on this team if, otherwise, that kind of thing. So that was the whole thing. But,
you have a problem with Kyrie's work ethic, like his, because like not wanting to show up to practice and things like that, and like wanting to play when he wants to play and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, like the guy gets paid to play basketball, and he's more worried about other things besides basketball. And like, there's nothing wrong with that, like from a perspective, but you're an NBA player that gets paid more money than people could ever fathom in their lives to do that job, and like I've said before, like whatever job you work at, like, do you think you could just go to that job whenever you feel like it? Like, hey, you know what? I'm going to take a mental day. I'm tired. Just going to take the day off, like see how long that job keeps you around for. The only difference is like, you're talking NBA players, you can't just get rid of it. Like, you can't just say, oh, I'm not going to have this NBA player anymore, that kind of thing. So it's just
like, you're fired, you're gone.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, he needs the commitment. And even he said, like, all of the teams, all of the questions, all the conversations were, about like my commitment to the game of basketball and my commitment to teams and stuff like that. Because it's a real concern. It's a real concern.
Well, I think he treats it like, what it almost seems like to me is he has the mindset of like an entrepreneur. So like he thinks that he can come into work whenever he wants to come into work. But even as an entrepreneur, that's not always the case. Yeah. But I feel like he thinks like that. But like, you're right though, I could understand if like, like he was like part ownership or whatever, but that's just not how it works. Like, you can't just be like, I feel like playing basketball today. Well, then I don't feel like playing basketball today. So like,
and that's the problem. He just changes his mind, or he's just too distracted about other things rather than the focus. But like that, and that was like a big concern with like him coming to the Lakers, which I do understand. But the idea and the thinking was like, okay, you have LeBron James to kind of keep him in line. And LeBron James, hopefully with that, you can have him fully buy in. He's going to want to prove himself. He's going to want to be committed, stuff like that, which I do think he would have. I do think that very likely would have been the case. Now, how long would he have continued to display that commitment? That's a real question. But the good thing about him too is that even after LeBron, because LeBron probably plays with the Lakers maybe 2-3 more years, and then after that, it's like how much like you need to start looking towards like what's next. And the beauty of having Kyrie is at least you'd have Kyrie and Anthony Davis too. So like that's a pretty good building block for your future. LeBron,
well, you're going to build a team around
Kyrie and AD. Like, that's still a pretty good spot to be in.
However, though, I think they keep LeBron for another. I think he's going to push it another. This sounds crazy, but another 5, because I know he wants to play on the same team like as a son. I think he stays in the league for another like.
5. The league, yeah, I think in the league he does. But I mean, I'm talking about like with the Lakers, like
with the Lakers, you give him 2.
So he has this year, and then his contract kicks in next year, and then after next year, he can, if he wants to, be a free agent. And if they change the eligibility for college, then his son would be able to play that year. So he could either ride out that final year with the Lakers and then leave, or just leave that year. And I think that will boil down to where are the Lakers at that point in time. If the Lakers are really good, or they're like, like a team that maybe can contend, then I think he stays. But if we're terrible and we're fighting for the play-in every year, and we're or we're a 6th seed every year or something like that, and he's just getting eliminated in the first round the next 2 years, then I think he's gone. I think the way he'll look at it is like, I could lose and be in the same position but play with my son and be setting records and have like all the attention and media over there, or I could stay here and just kill myself to be in the same position. You know what I mean? Because like if he goes and plays with the Sun, there's not going to be any expectations of him winning a championship.
Yeah.
Where right now on the Lakers, there's that expectation of like, we need to win a championship. We got LeBron James, we got Anthony Davis, it's time to win a championship. So I just think it depends on the situation in which the
Yeah.
Lakers are in at that time.
Yeah. And that's granted too, if Bronny makes it to the league. Like there's some speculation. He's great. He's really great. But we live in a day and age now that we're like, there's a lot of great players that are,
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not even like a top 10 in his class. But it's LeBron James's son. And there is a team out there that doesn't really care about winning. There's plenty of those teams out there that don't really care about winning. And they know if we draft his son, I don't think anyone's going to use a lottery pick to get him. But I could see a team that's like, we have like the 14th pick. We're not very good. If we draft his son, LeBron comes, and we're probably still, maybe we're good, maybe we're not, but who cares? Just think of all the money we will make on LeBron James. Like, I think every team in the league, if they might not admit it, but if they had the opportunity to have Bronny and LeBron James on their team, they would do it.
Yeah.
Unless you're like the Warriors, who are going to be a contender for the next 5 years, or, like maybe Milwaukee or something like that. I think 90% of the teams in this league, if they had to tell the truth, would all say, yeah, we would draft Bronny James just to get LeBron, not even to win basketball games, but just to sell tickets, just to sell merch, just to have that publicity and that promotion. And especially if you're a small market team. Like if you're like New York or something like that, or the Lakers, maybe not. But if you're like
the Kings,
if you're like Sacramento, you're licking your lips, you're jumping at the chops for the chance to make that a reality. Absolutely, you would do whatever it took to make that a reality.
Yeah.
So I just think that it just depends on that. But yeah, let's power through some things, and then we'll start wrapping the stream up for the first stream. Let's see. Here we go. I want LaMelo Ball on the Lakers. That would be nice. One day that can happen. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. That's for sure. He ain't going anywhere anytime soon. But
LaMelo's nice. Ooh.
He is. He's real nice. How did you become a Lakers supporter? I grew up, born and raised in LA. Diehard basketball fan, diehard Laker fan. So just comes with the territory. Kay's attitude is poop worse than Westbrook. Oh yeah, Kyrie Irving. Yeah, it's like what we were touching on. Kyrie Irving, like that's the biggest problem, is that Kyrie's he's so worried and focused on everything else but the game of basketball, and that's a big problem. That's a big concern. And hopefully he can kind of look, if he can buy in, get himself right, get his mind right, get everything right, and so can KD and so can everyone else, this team could be very, very scary. It's just, it's like I said, they're just a bad day away from just imploding.
I mean, the team's scary. It's just like you said, the chemistry is, I don't think the chemistry is there.
A lot of locker room concerns for sure. Lakers look young, healthy, and ready. I'm with you, Fearless. I do. I think we're really young. I think we're really talented. I think we got a lot of guys that want to prove something. I think we got a lot of guys that really want to turn this around. I still got LeBron James. You still got Anthony Davis. If they can even figure out how to make Russ be half effective, I like our chances. What about you? What do you think?
I think it's doable. I think we're gonna make a run. We're gonna make a run for sure. I definitely see us at least getting to mid playoffs at least. That's the very least. I won't put us any, like, I think we're hungry. I think we want it, but like I said, it's tough because you got the elephant in the room with the Golden State people, our next door neighbors. But I mean, I see us at least getting to mid playoff. I mean, hopefully all the way, but I don't think we're gonna get knocked off before, like I said, mid playoff. So
I think we're at least a playoff team. I think beyond being at least a playoff team, I think depending on depending on who we play, I think we're at least I think we at least make it to the second round. And then I just after that, I think it comes down to what what are the matchups from then on, like from there on out.
Exactly.
Are we, but I don't really I don't really worry about anybody in the West. Like I really don't. Like
what?
I don't like the Clippers and the Warriors are probably the only two teams that like I would say like, all right, like that's gonna be tough. But like Denver, I'm not worried about Denver. Dallas, I'm not worried about Dallas.
No.
Like the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, like I'm not worried about any of those teams. Like I'm not saying like, oh, lock them in, they can beat them. No, but I'm saying like I like how we match up against all those teams. Like every team in the West, the Suns, the Suns are just falling apart at the seams right now. So I'm not really worried about them. And last time we were healthy, we would have won that series. Like Anthony Davis, they had no answer for. He was absolutely dominating them. We were up 2-1. It looked like we were going up 3-1. Then he gets hurt, and it flipped the script. We still have Anthony Davis.
That defense that we played on like the Phoenix, like that's what kills me because you saw what happened to Devin Booker when you play defense on Devin Booker, he's not that effective when you play effective defense.
Yeah, he crumbles. Yeah. And I just I'm not worried about them. So it literally boils down to the Warriors and the Clippers. Thing is about the Clippers is as deep and good as they are on paper, they've always been that team that like just can't stay healthy. Every year has been their year for the last 10 years since Lob City. And every year they're a second round exit. Like we might not even have to worry about playing the Clippers because they might just get beat by somebody else. So like, I just, and can Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, can they stay healthy? Like they haven't been able to stay healthy the last few years. So it's one of those things. Like I don't fear them until they give me a reason to, I don't really believe in them until they give me a reason to. And then the Warriors are the Warriors, but the Warriors' biggest weakness has always been size. And the one thing the Lakers definitely have are size, not on the wing, which sucks. We don't have a lot of size on the wing, but we have 3 very good, capable bigs. We still have Anthony Davis. We got great point guard play that we have several guys that we could just continuously throw at, Steph and Clay. I like how we match up. I mean, the Warriors are still the Warriors. I'm not saying we're better than them. I'm not saying anything like that, but I'm saying like matchup wise, I don't think like you look at them and they're like, man, like they match like we are a terrible matchup for them. No, it's just if the Warriors weren't the Warriors and they were just like you just looked at their team, you'd be like the Lakers should slaughter them. But then you realize like, oh, Steph is Steph, Clay is Clay.
Yeah, you got that championship DNA. But honestly, if I'm head coach, what I'm doing, I'm immediately putting like Anthony Davis on Steph because he's just gonna be shooting threes from like half mid-court and just he has long arms. So just be like, look, AD, every time you see him, if you see him pumping, just throw an arm up there,
I'll actually close this. Close this out on a stat. So like the Lakers have 2 of the top 5 defenders as the closest defender. So basically what that means is that like, say you and me are on the court, right? And LeBron's supposed to be guarding you, but you end up cutting away and you get the ball open and I need to be the closeout, right? So I extend to go close out, right? So we have 2 of the top 5 guys in the league at that. Patrick Beverly is number 2 behind only Giannis. Giannis is number 1 in the league on closeouts, but that's because he's 7 foot, just super athletic.
For him, closing out is just stretching out an arm.
Yeah, it's just like put your arm out. So we have so Patrick Beverly's number 2 and Anthony Davis is number 4. Yeah. So we have 2 of the top 4 guys on defensive closeouts and defensive efficiency. Patrick Beverly's win share is like insane. Like, I mean, just look at like the Grizzlies the Timberwolves last year. Like the Timberwolves before they got Patrick Beverly weren't even a playoff team. And then they got Patrick Beverly and immediately like doubled their win total. And like he's done that everywhere he's gone. It's because of his high energy, his defense, his tenacity, his just the grind. Like he's a guy
Yeah,
that
no, I like the aggression. Yeah.
yeah, he's a guy that is infectious.
Yeah.
So
He's like a
but
Draymond. Yeah, exactly. Like
yeah,
he's like the Warriors Draymond is our, we got Pat, so
yeah, you need those guys. You need your Draymond. You need your like I said, Dennis Rodman type guys. Those guys that'll go
yeah.
get the technical, that'll slap somebody in the mouth, like things like that. You need those guys. Those guys are what needed to be effective. But anyway, good first show. I really like it. I like this. Did you enjoy it? We'll be back Wednesday, same
fun,
time.
yeah.
We'll be back Wednesday, same time. 7 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Central time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Any last words? Any closeouts? Anything like that?
No, man. Thank you. No, I had fun. I had fun. It was a blast.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with us, for being here and a part of this very first live stream. Thank you for all the comments, all of that stuff. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel on your way out if you're not already. And we will see you guys in the next one on Wednesday. Take care. Peace.